Blades of Steel.
As a Canadian and hockey-crazed enthusiast, I was so excited to play Blades of Steel for my NES when I was a kid. It was one of the first Nintendo titles I had ever played, and to this day, I just adore this game so much. This Konami classic scratched every itch when I was a youngster, though at my tender age I never understood licensing and why I didn't see the Edmonton Oilers or the Minnesota North Stars in the game. I mean, Edmonton was in the game, so was Minnesota, but it wasn't the Oilers, and they definitely didn't have the Oilers' blue and orange motif. But aside from the cosmetic confusion, everything about Blades of Steel was, and continues to be, a fun little experience. While many may prefer the fun, quicker pace of Nintendo's Ice Hockey, Blades of Steel always felt like a more authentic experience to the sport. Almost 40 years later, Konami's subtle touches to this game definitely make it stand out and create an experience many will remember and those who haven't played won't soon forget. Utter the phrase to any video game enthusiast and they'll instantly be able to tell you what game it's from. Does it get old? Absolutely, but it's also a major part of its charm.
Face Off.
The game itself plays well and showcases hockey as a glorified fighting simulator, for better or worse. A few unappreciated body checks leads to a good scrap. I always loved this element of the game, and my brother and I would spend so many games just chasing each other around the rink trying to fight one another. The best part of the fighting element is always when you lose the fight. You get penalized. Yep, lose the fight and you get a penalty. Your team is down a man because you couldn't chuck knuckles fast enough, and that always makes me laugh. The game is a perfect pick up and play in that there's not a lot of skill required to play Blades of Steel. You skate up and down the ice trying to score, obviously, and avoid body checks, and the biggest challenge stems from controlling the goalie. You're moving the tender at the same time you may be back-checking and controlling another player. It's easy to lose control or mistake which one you're focusing on, which leads to both the challenge and the fun. Another Konami gem also makes an appearance in Blades of Steel. During the second intermissions, players get a fun cutscene of a bear playing hockey, or in other games, the chance to experience a very small but brief session of Gradius. I always thought that this was the coolest thing as a kid. You get to play a game within the game? What sorcery is this? I always thought it was a really neat touch. Plus, there's also the shilling of Contra and Jackal, and that's fun too. The animations in this game are great as well, with nothing better than the goal-scoring celebration. As the player scores, he stands triumphant, raising his stick in the air while his teammates pay homage around the circle, and then there's the goalie who loses his mind in net. While simple, this animation always makes me smile, and I really do admire it. The best part of Blades of Steel is an element that very few people ever get to experience. Although that may be a bit of an exaggeration, but if the game ends in a tie, there's no overtime or simple tie game. The game enters a shootout minigame, complete with new sprite work and animations that take on a very 50-50 style element. As the shooter, you're basically trying to pick a corner by aiming on the net, and as the goalie, well, you're trying to guess where the puck is going to go. Because Blades of Steel can be high-scoring or even lopsided, the shootout isn't always experienced by players, and I remember the first time I saw it. I was blown away by how good I thought it looked and how much fun it actually was. In fact, quite often, a friend and I would just start a game, let the clock run down, and just wait until the shootout started so that we could enjoy it. It's really a fun experience. Blades of Steel in 2022 isn't going to win over too many people, and those who didn't experience it in the late 80s may not have the appreciation for it that some older gamers do, which is more than okay. Sometimes a sports game is just a sports game, but when creativity and fun was the norm rather than a simulated authentic experience, Blades of Steel was able to find the right balance between both, and still holds down a special place in hockey video game history.